Hey, I'm Ross, founder of Siege Media, and today we're going to talk about 4 things that I very commonly see that are strategically wrong about how people think about links. The number one is thinking that they either one, need to build links, or two, don't need to build links at all. Like there's two paths where they just want to brute force, have link building carry their site, and then the other one is just not do it at all. As with all things, most answers are somewhere in that middle area. Why I say this is people will have sites that look like crap. Their content will be mediocre. You go to it, it's not going to passively acquire links over time. This is the brute force link building company that says we just need links, and maybe they've had some legacy rankings and they think that's the solver of their problem. But when you actually go into their backlink velocity, it's flat. And the reason it's flat is because it's mediocre content and product overall. In some verticals, product is simply not going to generate a ton of links. Others, it will. But there is a healthy medium in most markets where a healthy product will acquire links naturally. And what product can be content, can just be the business. But these things generally will get some references online if they trust you, if the quality is good, if the design is good, the information is trustworthy. What you do is basically upper echelon. This should generate a positive backlink velocity when you look at tools like Ahrefs. When you see these velocities, these are the companies that have now the possibility to augment what they do with actual manual link building and crush it. These are the companies that blow it out of the water and dominate markets because they passively acquire links and they also manually acquire links because they're good enough. And what's also a secondary piece of this is because they have a nice enough site, a nice enough product, a good looking site, the link building that's done off content or done off their site in particular is more successful. The cost per link to promote a great website significantly lower than a crappy one. But if you're that crappy website and you're just like, we need links, and you're not going to solve the inherent mediocrity that is your business and your website and your site design, in your situation, you might have a cost per link of, let's just hypothetically call it 1,000 for a mediocre site setup. And then that other business might have 750 to 500 to better than that for the exact same content in that same framework and same business because of that. And you can see how that compounds over time to be a more economically rewarding equation for your business. So that model rewards a business that is set up correctly. So if you have a bad looking website, so if we're on this site, unfortunately, sorry, debt.com, mediocre at best. And because of that, they have inconsistent link velocity. You can tell they're probably coming in and out in terms of how they've generated that. And that's probably why they're doing poorly. And companies like this occasionally come to us and say, we need links. But really what they need to do is fix their mediocre site and content framework and then apply manual outreach through quality content in order to augment those results at scale. The reverse is this kind of company that's actually kind of passively doing this, and they're probably okay. They're gonna acquire traffic over time, but what they're missing is basically deliberate effort. Link building is hard. It's not a always natural activity. So if they're up against that same quality of company that is doing that at scale, they're also gonna get crushed because they're just thinking product wins the day. There is not one answer. It's in the middle, and it's those people in the middle that believe in both that are dominating most markets. So be that person, because that is a common strategic link building mistake I see. Another is we need high DA links. We're generating links, but it's just not working. So you go to these same people, they offer you on their backlink velocity. You look at it, and oftentimes when they come to me and they say, we need links from CNN or Times.com, you actually go to their velocity and it's flat. And what's reality is they're actually not generating enough links, but they're not looking in the right place. Or they're not generating enough at scale organically. It could actually be the same problem as I just discussed, because they think links aren't working for them. They're maybe sort of paddling along. They might not be generating enough of those. And also, in general, they might be losing them because their site quality is not good enough. So both of those can relate. But because they're coming to you with that high DA request, another thing that can happen and be a misalignment is their market might not actually make sense for this. So I've talked about this in a previous video, which we'll show, but in a TLDR, certain lifestyle markets aren't as high DA on average. Mommy bloggers, lifestyle, like Hallmark, as we'll show here, their DA spread is actually much lower than a business type market because of the nature of that vertical. That's not bad, that's just where their market is. And you should embrace where your market is, because for them, links from CNN and Time.com aren't going to be natural. Data studies for Hallmark doesn't make sense. That's not on brand for them. So they should embrace who they are and actually inquire the links at scale rather than trying to go off this other pattern instead that just doesn't make sense for them. Another one is that blog links simply don't make sense for them. So someone comes to us, we don't want blog links. Isn't that what you do? I want my product page, my category, my money page links. And when I go to those sites, almost always, you see they've sort of tried link building off their blog, and internal linking is just broken. They're not linking in the nav, it's not in the footer, it's not intelligently thought through, and a lot of the external link equity is being passed to other blog posts or just pages that have no value. So first, solve for that, and you'll more intelligently be pushing equity to those pages and actually seeing the rewards of content marketing in general that can still power those bottom funnel page rankings. In addition to that, you can actually generate links with blog content. There is a framework to do that if it ties in semantically. A percentage of the time, we say around 40, we can actually generate links to category and money page links because it ties in semantically. If people like that content enough, you'll be surprised how often they actually link to it and will be willing to link to a specific page relating to it because they liked you and your content. You can also suggest to them that you will write custom content to lower the friction to link to you, which is another scenario where you can tie in that semantically connected content to get those links. So that is one way I see mistakes as well, is when people just pass off out of hand that blog content cannot do enough for them from a link generation standpoint. Another one is simply that they need more of those links, or that their setup has to funnel on that, which ties into the blog concept similarly, but there is an approach that also makes sense. We actually had a client come to us and they got a lot of mentions of their homepage. And another application you can actually apply is, even though they had a lot of city page links, they were getting mentioned for their homepage when in a reference to those other pages. So if you went to travel to San Diego, you would most likely link to VRBO to their homepage instead of those city pages, just because it's not natural to search San Diego rentals when you're doing that and link to it. So they're getting a lot of pages that go to their homepage that actually reference subpages. Finding a replace this with your business of choice, but if you go to those people that are actually mentioning San Diego or Oakland or New York City or what have you, or product type, you can actually ask them, hey, it would be really appreciated if you can move this to this link instead. It would add context to your readers, it'd be more useful, and of course, it'd be much appreciated as well. You'll be amazed how often that works. Probably 50% or higher, and it basically will redistribute that equity with more important pages on your site. So these are pretty big link building mistakes people make strategically. I think they can make a major difference in how you think about links and how you value them, and of course the value you get from them. So we'd love to hear other mistakes you hear people commonly making. Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.